Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are back at it. Tanks that you should sell in terms of tech tree tanks. So the first tank up is the WZ-110. Now, this heavy is boring. It's boring. And honestly, when you get up to the next tank in tier 9, you honestly will sell this tank. You will never play it again. Some people, of course, may perform in it. They may do. And, you know, I got a lot of people commenting on my tier 9, say, where people like, what are you on about? The Emil 2 is really good. You know, if you look at the tier 8 and then the tier 10, the Emil 2, you know, it isn't special. I didn't say it's like a really bad tank. It's just a tank that once you grinded the Kranwagen, you will never go and play that tank again. Like, there is so many better heavies in the tier 9 than the Emil 2, and it's the same with the WZ-110. I mean, this tank, to be fair, it is kind of useless. It is, yes, you can have a good game. Yes, if you wanted to, I suppose you can change different guns, etc. But I just think the negatives outweigh the positives with this tank. There isn't much positives at all. I think the armor profile absolutely sucks. And yeah, it's just a tank that you're never going to play. Like, as soon as you get the tier 9, you honestly will never ever play this tank again. And this is the first time I'm playing this tank for years. Literally since it was released, probably since I've grinded the line, since I've got the mastery badge. I never want to play it, and I never need to play this tank again. And that's what this series kind of is, you know. It's a way of those guys that have not got a lot of credits, you know, newer people that don't have 200-300 million credits like us old timers. You know, for me, it's no problem because I have got all that credits. I don't mind keeping these tanks in my garage, but it doesn't mean that I'm ever going to play it. And this is what this series is. It's kind of like, you know, I need credits, and I know exactly how it feels because I have a free-to-play account that I really struggle getting the next tank because I haven't got enough credits. And that is what this video is basically about. I'm not going to sit there and say, you know what, say Tiger 2. The Tiger 2 is really good, but once you get that tank, sell it to get the E75. It's not about that. It's about looking at other ways to be able to get that. And, you know, I'm not going to recommend selling a tank like the Tiger 2 because it is a good tank, and it is a tank that you can go back to. However, the WZ-110 isn't one of those tanks. Next up, you have this AMX, and again, there's some positives about the tank. There is some positives. There's some good things, there's some bad things. It's got a really good gun. It does have a good gun, and I'm about to say the armor profile isn't special, but this game I actually bounce quite a lot, and that is thanks to this WZ-120 probably not having a clue. I think he's running the stock gun, and of course he will struggle. But the good thing about this tank, of course, is the DPM. I think the DPM is fantastic, but then so is the next tank, the Foch, the tier 9 Foch. Again, once you get that tier 9 Foch, and then once you get the tier 10 Foch, you're never going to play these tanks again, like ever. There is no need to play these tanks. And again, I'm not saying this tank is bad. Now, we're going to look at the enemy AC-48 there, well, in a minute, and then at least you can see the armor profile from yourself. Again, it's not impenetrable. It is quite weak, the armor profile. Again, if you're lucky, you may be able to get a few bounces, and that is what I'm going to get here. I mean, yeah, at that angle, the frontal plate actually looks pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, look, there we go. You can pen it easily. I'm just getting these bounces lucky. It was absolutely lucky that I'm getting these bounces. But of course, I can't bounce everything, and I do end up dying. So the AMX AC there, 48, is definitely a tank that you will sell once you get the tier 9 Foch. Moving on to the final tank. Yeah, this tank does suck. I'm not going to lie. It does have a good gun, but that is it. It's slow. I don't think the armor profile is as good as it should be. I think it used to be really strong. Like when I first started playing, it was like, bloody hell, look how strong that T28 is. Like it is really strong. And you can also say the same with the T28 prototype. So you can add it in to the same tank here, really. Yes, it's got a turret, but both are slow. Both, I don't think the armor profile is as good as it can be, and I don't think there's too many positives for these tanks. I mean, this tank here, yes, it has a nice gun, but that, honestly, that is it. that is the only thing about this tank that is good. Everything else absolutely sucks. And honestly, once you get to the the T95, you will be selling this tank. And likewise, some people do keep the T95, you know. I do. I mean, I keep most tech tree tanks anyway because I have the credits, but the T95 is a bit of a meme, so a lot of people do keep that for that. Yes, it has a fantastic tank, fantastic gun. It is very, very slow, but a lot of people do keep the T95. But once you get to the E3, like, it's a different level. The E3, yes, it's slow, but it is a completely different level. With this tank here, once you will not wait. I mean, even if you have a lot of free XP, once you start playing this tank, you honestly will use that free XP to get the next tank, because it is so boring. You get bored of playing it after a couple of games. Honestly, you do not want to play this tank after a few games, and you will end up selling it. And again, you know, I do think Wargaming should give these tech tree tanks a bit of love. They kind of get left behind. And there's a lot of tanks, you know, apart from tier 9 and maybe, well, tier 10, maybe tier 9, Wargaming don't really buff and nerf a lot. You know, they should make these tanks into the meta. They should maybe, you know, look at the T28 and think, you know, no one plays it, really. They only play it for memes, or they only play it to grind the line. Let's treat it. Let's give it something special to make people want to play it. Put it in meta, make it OP, kind of. And then obviously when the meta changes, when Wargaming want to change the meta, they can then nerf it again. But I do think they should give it some love. This shot here, what the hell was that? That was my fault. That was a Borask, and I still managed to freaking bounce it. So yeah, these are just, again, these are just 3 tanks. There are a number of tanks in tier 8 that once you get to tier 9, honestly, you will sell. But T28, I still think, is probably the worst in tier 8. Let me know in the comments below, what 3 tanks would you sell once you grinded the next tier in tier 8. Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.